Hi, welcome to video 2 of the Android development series for the Swinburne students. Obviously this material is supplementary material, so its aim is to help you along with the time spent in class. So for debugging and difficult kind of issues, just make sure that you're bringing those kind of questions to class so that we can work on them there. These videos are certainly not a replacement for attendance. In this video, the second one, we'll just have a look at running the application, so still quite basic stuff, using the different layouts, using our layouts, changing the theme, so changing to any one of the default themes, and then as an extension of that you can have a look at creating your own theme and adding elements to the layout, so just adding buttons and other things like that. Alright, let's begin. So we're continuing on from that paper, scissors, rock application we had last week, and so we've just got the files, all the files that it's created. Now all of these files will be, and this folder structure will be in your workspace, so whatever folder you set up as your Android development workspace, mine is here, you'll see that this paper scissors rock folder will mimic each other, so they match each other. So where you've got an Android manifest XML file here, you've got one here. You just have to remember though that Eclipse does create things for you. It does do some things automatically, like generating files and generating parts of documents. And so if you change things here, sometimes you can introduce errors into Eclipse. So just be aware of that. It's normally better to edit them through the package explorer inside Eclipse than it is to directly edit them, and that's because Eclipse then adjusts its metadata to match, so that can save you a fair few problems. If you're going to copy files in, copy from from wherever, copy them, copy, but then go in here and click paste straight into here. So instead of maybe doing it just in Windows Explorer, and that forces Eclipse to recognize those files. Alright, so we're just going to have a look at running our application. So that's pretty crazy. We click the run paper scissors rock, and it may pop up a thing asking you to create a Android virtual device, and it will look something like this. So mine says it's not working, but it is. And we just create a new one, enter a name, enter a target, click create AVD. If CPU does not pop up, it means you haven't downloaded possibly you haven't downloaded the right files, or your SDK updates aren't complete or aren't connected properly, and so you just have to fix those. And you fix them by running your Android SDK manager and making sure that you have the appropriate things, at least 4.1.2, and the tools installed, and then going to your settings, your preferences, and making sure that this SDK location is pointing to where your SDK has downloaded. Okay, so that's probably one of the most common issues. I've already got my Android virtual device running, so I've started up because it takes like 5 minutes to start the first time, and so mine's already running. So when I hit play, you'll see down here that it builds and then launches our application, and it should just automatically pop up on here once it's finished launching. There we go. Hello world, yay, our first application is running, woohoo! And we can see here it's called main activity, but down here it's paper scissors rock. That's just because we have not set up any of our files or our preferences or anything yet. Alright, so you don't close it, you don't quit this, instead you just click back into Eclipse, and we'll start off by just changing our style, so our theme. Now we can have a look at what different themes look like just by clicking on this drop down list from the top, and we can select some different themes to see what our application may look like with different themes. Theme black no title bar, things like that. So you can have a look at, these are built-in themes, and you can create your own fairly easily. You're just creating an XML file that displays or declares styles, so it's a bit like building some CSS, so it's not too difficult. To change our theme, you're not changing your theme when you're changing this particular menu. To change our theme, what we do is we go to our our application manifest, so our Android manifest. And this sets up the settings, the permissions, and the styles for our application, the entire application. So we're just going to double click on that and you'll get a nice little editor. You'll see down the bottom that we have the manifest, which is we can set our versions, etc. We have the application where we set the application's specific settings. We have permissions that we can add and remove, and these are application-wide permissions, different instrumentation, and then the actual XML file itself. So you can copy and paste directly into this XML file if you'd like to make changes yourself. We'll just quickly go to our application tab. So application, and then we'll have a look at this theme, and we see that it's app style and then it's app theme, which is an automatically generated theme. We'll just click browse here, and we can see that we haven't created any styles except for the automatically generated one. So we'll just click on system resources, and you see all the different possible styles pop up there, and we'll just type in theme dot, so we get the base styles. So we can select now any of the styles we'd want, maybe translucent, and you'll see that it will pop in here. Now you've got a little asterisk up here, which means this file isn't saved, so we save that file. We go back to our activity main, and if you go up here, you'll see that app theme is kind of grayed out now. Well, it's still selected, but it's kind of grayed out. That's just a built-in theme, and instead we'll click on theme translucent, and so this is what our application will now look like. And if you hit play, you'll see that this carries over into the live version. So this is what it used to look like, and when it updates, we'll just kind of do a quit and then reopen. If it updates, launching, quit. Come on, 100% launched. So eventually when it does launch, you see, oh, it's completely translucent. So we can see right through to our, our background, our normal application background. So it's a demonstration of how you can change themes. I wouldn't recommend this theme as your standard development, but you can see how the theme has changed on our Android device. So I'm just going to change that back now. So I'm going to go back to Paper, Scissors, Rock Manifest, and I basically stick with our app theme, our default theme for most of these videos, but you can feel free to change them. And in fact, you feel free to change that app theme file itself so that you have your own custom application theme by the end of the video. All right, now we're just going to have a quick look at layouts. So you can actually, layouts in Android devices work very similar to layouts in normal Java applications. You've got all different types, and they're what you use to control how things are displayed on your page. So you can do a grid layout, which allows things to be positioned kind of in a grid, a linear layout, which is vertical, which will automatically create rows on your page, a linear layout, which is horizontal, a relative layout, which means things are placed on the view within reference to each other. So if you drag something else on, it kind of places it within reference to something else on the page, and frame layouts, which give you a kind of a picture box effect, and table rows, spaces, fragments, and other, which you can define yourself. The most useful I find are linear layouts for simple applications, just because you can stack them within each other. So what we can do first is we can change our relative layout, and so instead of being a relative layout where everything is in relation to each other, we can change the layout, change layout, to perhaps a linear layout vertical, and you'll see straight away that our things now, our anything we drag to our view is arranged now in lines. So if we were to drag a button onto the page, it becomes, it automatically wants to sit underneath other things. So we'll drag another text view, and you can see we've got kind of row, row, row. So we can put it in between, or we could put it underneath, but we can't put it to the right of because of our layout, our vertical layout. So what if you did want to put something next to each other, you could drag in another layout. So we could drag in a linear layout horizontal, and this, if we added things to this layout, they'd be able to sit next to each other. Oops, I don't know what I did there. I might have got rid of it. I think I did. I might just have to undo. So I'll just try that again, dragging on the linear layout horizontal. And I'll add my hello world to it. And you can see that they're now able to stack things across the view. So editing in this view can be quite finicky, and you're able to, if you'd prefer, create your elements directly in the XML. And we can see here you've got the linear layout, and this is very similar. This would be familiar to you if you've done familiar to you if you've done some HTML. You'd get linear layouts, and then the types, and then the actual items included within. I'd just be careful making sure that don't introduce too many errors if you're editing in this way. Just be careful to kind of do things procedurally. So create something, save it, create something, save it, and just keep an eye out for little warnings or errors popping up so you can fix them immediately. I'm just going to delete these elements. Oh, you can also adjust things, from up here. So you can see there's different, the elements kind of arranged in a hierarchical view. And so you're able to, interact with them up here as well. So I can delete them without a problem. All right, that's the end of Android development video number 2. I'll see you on the next one.